Yeah, personally, if you're watching the stream, they're not messing with you by putting up FSM. It's just that I'm less attractive. But I want to hit one quick thing, and then I want to move on to another caller.
I have a question.
But Jen's got a question, so she gets to go first because I'm talking too much.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question for you about Jain beliefs. I understand that you guys believe in celibacy outside of marriage?
Yes, and the Jain principle does believe in it, yes.
Okay. So you're either completely celibate or sex only inside of marriage, right?
Yeah, by the core edicts.
Okay. So what about gay people?
Oh, actually, I will say this. By the text, it isn't covered, and I'm sure you can find Jain monks and nuns that are against it, but at least every Jain monk and nun I've spoken to believes that it's a natural thing. It's not like some evil, unholy thing that other people might point to.
So is there a provision inside the Jain faith for gay people to get married?
Marriage in Jainism is, I don't know how to put this. It's more of a spiritual bond. It followed by a lot of the same traditions that Hinduism did 2,000 years ago. So to say something that's strictly a Jain marriage, but at the same time today, I'm sure you'll find Jains that are also against homosexuality, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing in the core edicts that strictly goes against it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay.
So as a side question on this, what's the Jain take on divorce?
Actually, I can't answer that. I don't have enough knowledge to answer that.
That's fine, and I realize that you're not, uber Jain. And by the way, that was the question I was getting to is obviously, and Sam Harris has addressed before, that there are some Jains who take their nonviolence thing so seriously that they wear gauze over their face so that they don't accidentally, take in an insect. And I would say that those Jains probably are the ones that are most likely to be literal believers in the idea of a soul that they're trying to cleanse.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't run around wearing gauze all the time, do you?
No. And actually, I know a lot of people that will only do it on very strict holidays or during certain ceremonies. During their life, they don't. And actually, the only people that usually do it are the ones who are either extremely religious, monks or nuns, or people who are trying to become a monk or a nun.
Yeah, I'm still not. There is, I admit, within me this. It's not even knee-jerk. It's a visceral reaction to religion. From a philosophical standpoint, there are things about Jainism that I like. There are things about Buddhism I like. There are things about Levain's Satanism I like. There are things about Christianity I like. There are things about almost any religion you could come up with that I like. However, when we start talking about this is my religion, then either, and by the way, I understand there are Christians who follow their religious beliefs to the letter, or their edicts to the letter. I think everybody follows their beliefs pretty much to the letter. And then there are some, kind of half-assed Christians, liberal, modest, moderate, whatever. I'm a Easter Christmas Christian type of thing. And maybe you're an Easter Christmas equivalent Jain. But when we start talking about religion and that I'm going to be a monk or a nun, or I'm going to follow these edicts, that's where everybody loses me, no matter how good the idea might be behind it. And I think there's some damn good ones within Jainism. And I'm not a vegetarian, nor am I a pacifist. But I think that as a general trend towards that, I'm fine with that. But boy, once we start getting to the nuts and bolts of a religion, of that kind of level of following, you just lose me. I don't see any point in it. And yet the thing is, if any of those religions were true, then that kind of observance would be the point. It would be the only, if your religion is true, then you should be the most devout X of that Y you can be. And if you're anything less, then you're not really convinced that it's true, I would say.
Actually, it's kind of interesting because Jainism has levels of belief, and it accepts that some people just can't believe enough, and that if they're good people, and by that it means in a culturally good way, at some point your soul will be cleared of this karma, and you'll sort of understand what Jainism is trying to teach. Again, that goes into this whole afterlife thing and the rebirth that I don't buy. But it accepts that not everyone's going to believe, and if you're not going to believe, at least to be a good person to the best of your ability.
Well, I'm with that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe, but I am going to be the best person to the best of my abilities. It's just that I get to define what's best, and no religion does. I got to get, Rohit, I got to let you go ahead and go. We get full lines, but I appreciate you calling in,
Thanks for
correcting me on Jains, and giving us some more information about Jainism. So thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Bye.
All right.
You know, it seems like the acid test for anything out there, whether it's what people are calling their religious faith or anything else, it should be, does it make your life better in some measurable way? And not just, you know, a comfortable belief. But, for example, if I decide I'm going to become a vegetarian for health reasons, and I get sick as a result of it, why would I continue to do that?
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, if it, on the other hand, if it makes me feel better, then doing that would be its own reward.
And not just feel better or a demonstrable benefit. It needs to be a benefit that is demonstrably better than the costs of it. For
Right.
example, you know, I have no doubt at all that religious belief has benefits for the believers.
Yeah.
The idea that Grandpa is waiting for you so that, you know, after you die so that you can apologize because you didn't do it while you're down here, that can be a very comforting delusion. But there's no reason to think it's any more than that. And so if the benefit to you is an assuagement of your guilt for not settling things while he was alive, that's a real benefit. But the cost of that is that the constant presence of that belief may have contributed to you not correcting things while he was alive. And the absence of that belief, the firm conviction that you better do things right the first time, is what leads to a true benefit. And that is that you can repair relationships. And even if you don't repair them, your attempt to do so, to be honest about who you are, to mend those fences, is a benefit so that you don't live the rest of your life in guilt. It can be, I've done what I can do to mend that relationship. I will continue to do whatever is needed to mend that relationship, but I can't take the next step till they do, and I'm not going to sit around and feel guilty about it. It's very short-sighted. Heroin can make you feel really good, and it can kill you.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to put that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think our next caller has an example of the cost of religion.
Okay, we got John in Hartford, Connecticut.
Hi, how you doing?
How you doing, John?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I recently came out to my parents that I'm an atheist, and the best way to describe them is they're like fundamentalist, traditionalist Catholic. That's probably the best way to say it. And their response was extremely negative. I'm sure you have the same personal experience that your parents had when, and the rest of your family had when you came out to them.
Yeah, most of mine are still in denial, but
Yeah, they were in denial for about 6 months. I basically kind of got kicked out of the house for not going to church on Sunday.
Go.
And
How old are you, John?
I'm 23.
You should have been kicked out of the house anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, I was more than happy to leave. But,
No, I'm sorry. I was, you know, we've had other people write, and they're like, you know, I don't, you know, they want me to go to church with them, and I don't believe, and I'm like, go anyway. Hell, I do. I mean, if they want you to go to church, then go, take notes, learn, and ask questions. You'll either get them to stop wanting you to go to church, or you'll find another avenue to address the gulf that separates your beliefs from theirs. But anyway, continue.